Hey guys, it is Tuesday and we are back at the Scholarium vendor and we're going to head to the Infinite Archive vendor next. Both vendors have new inventory every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern, so let's see what scripts we have this week.
Come around the corner.
All right. We have Bound Affix script, Brutality and Sorcery. Adds Brutality and Sorcery buffs, increasing weapon and spell damage to a scribe skill when written to a grimoire. Bound Affix script, Lifesteal. Adds Lifesteal a debuff, granting healing to attackers to a scribe skill when written to a grimoire. Next we have Bound Focus script, Flame Damage. Adds flame damage to a scribe skill when written to a grimoire. And our fourth one is Bound Signature script, War Mage's Defense. Adds a damage shield to a scribe skill when written to a grimoire. Okay, let's head over to Infinite Archive and see what he has. All right, let's see what Filer Ool has for us today.
Don't complain to me if you...
Okay, the first one is probably the one I'm most excited about, you guys. Telvanni Peninsula treasure maps. Why am I so excited? Because this was one of the first zones that Zoss hid a bunch of furnishing leads for inside treasure map chests. If you're a housing person and you want to get codex for your furnishings, which is finding it 3 times, so that you can then go to the achievement vendor and just be able to buy it with gold anytime you want. So if you want 30 of them, that's easy peasy. These treasure maps stand in the way of that. Let me show you. All right, I'm using the add-on display leads. I have it set to Telvanni Peninsula only, and this is all the leads in Telvanni Peninsula. If you notice, we have tons of leads that only come from treasure maps. And remember, not every treasure map is going to give you a lead. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 times 3 is 27. We have 27 leads that we need to find in order to get our codex completed. 27. I'm noticing maybe a 1 in 5 to 1 in 6 drop rate for me personally. I have not tracked it. I don't have the data behind that, but about a 1 in 6 drop rate on leads from maps. That makes us a whole heck of a lot of maps that we would need in order to finish our codex. And remember, that's if it only gives us the ones we need. We're also going to get duplicates. So we're probably talking hundreds of maps that we need. Because of this, the price of Telvanni treasure maps is still pretty expensive. It's gone down a bit. It looks like I can get a Telvanni treasure map on PCNA for about 10 to 15,000 and on EU for maybe 7 to 10,000. We were talking earlier on stream about the gold to archival fortune ratio. We decided it's kind of difficult to assign a value to archival fortunes because it's really all about time, right? We don't have a set item that we have a gold price for that we can compare. So it really comes down to how fast can I personally farm gold to how fast can I personally farm archival fortunes. Thankfully, the math on this one is pretty easy. If you run 1 arc of Infinite Archive and you turn it in for the daily, giving you an extra 550 archival fortunes, you're going to get about 1,800 archival fortunes. If you happen to kill a loot goblin along the way, that gets you 2,000. So let's say 2,000 archival fortunes is 1 arc. You get more for later arcs, but for the sake of argument, it's 1 arc. How long does it take you to run 1 arc, the first arc, of Infinite Archive? Compare that to how long it takes you to farm 10 to 15,000 gold if you're on NA, less if you're on EU. While I'm excited to see Telvanni Peninsula treasure maps at the Infinite Archive vendor, I have to admit it's still going to be more efficient for me to farm gold and buy the maps from guild traders. Next we have the Archmagister Mavon's Ascension book. I feel like we've seen this one before. I checked my notes. I haven't been keeping notes the whole time, but I do have a copy of each of these on PCNA and EU. I love this book though. It is open. It's got a bunch of writing. It would be great for a lot of housing uses. This one is found in Infinite Archive, and the eidetic memory is also in Infinite Archive. Okay, next up we have the Big Ear Ginger Kitten Sleeping Basket. This is going to come out of Carnwayston in Somerset from killing mobs. The kitten is super duper cute, but you can get the Runebox fragment here for about 4,000 or 5,000 on PCNA, so I don't think it's worth 7,000 archival fortunes. All right, next up, let's discuss our scripts. We've got 3 this week. We have our Bound Affix script, Interrupt. Adds interruption effect to a scribe skill when written to a grimoire. Bound focus script knockback. Adds a knockback to a scribe skill when written to a grimoire. And we have our bound signature script, Leeching Thirst. Adds a heal for percentage of damage done to a scribe skill when written to a grimoire. Next up, we have bound style page, Mother's CNA shoulder. It's not a fantastic looking shoulder, and shoulders are pretty easy to get as long as you are shopping for it when the style page mask is dropping from that dungeon. But there you go. It is available for 15,000 archival fortunes. Next up is companion jewelry. Jewelry is the only thing I recommend maybe getting from the Infinite Archive vendor. Remember, companion gear is bound, so you can't sell it, and you're at the mercy of whatever trade it gives you. The nice thing about jewelry is jewelry doesn't change. There's no light, medium, or heavy jewelry, right? So anytime you get a good trait, it's just a good trait. You don't have to worry about it being on the proper weight equipment. So there's a few things that would work for you here. I still prefer to buy mine with gold or to farm it myself, but this is an option. And if you're going to get companion equipment from the Infinite Archive vendor, I suggest jewelry. Okay, what everybody's been waiting for, our leads. The lead for Hecatome Tacits, this one is for Bloodlord's Embrace. The Mythic itself, I don't think is super fantastic, but the lead comes from sewer bosses in Imperial City. If you want to avoid Imperial City and you want to get Bloodlord's Embrace, this is actually a really good deal. I would much rather spend 5,000 archival fortunes than to go farm sewer bosses in Imperial City. But I'm a PvE player. I'm not a PvPer. So that is up to you and what you enjoy doing in the game. Our next lead is Umbral Flame. This one is for the Trifold Mirror of Alternatives. That is a furnishing item. This one comes out of Telvanni Peninsula from the Delve Choir's Wind. It's from the boss. I do think that one's fairly easy to get. So I'm going to be skipping that one this week. Our second book this week is the Master of Tides Fate. This one also drops in Infinite Archive, but the eidetic memory is in the city of Necrom in Telvanni Peninsula. And last couple, we have our Tales of Tribute Clue. I don't like getting these from the Infinite Archive vendor. They're 4,000 archival fortunes each, and they drop just from playing Tales of Tribute. If you play Tales of Tribute, you should be getting these anyway. If you don't play Tales of Tribute, you probably don't care about this unless you're a completionist, and that would be the only time I'd recommend getting it. So if you're a completionist, but you don't want to play Tales of Tribute, this is an option for you this week. And finally, we have our Unreliable Archive Map. Consume 20 Unreliable Archive Maps to unlock the Peer into the Mirror Maze achievement and the Shattered Mirror Maze face marks. There's the face marks. I don't think that these are worth 7,000 archival fortunes. You get at least one fragment every time you do an Infinite Archive daily. You start with the mount and then it will rotate through. I think if you are farming archival fortunes anyway, you will eventually get this. So I say hold off. 7,000 archival fortunes is quite a bit, and you need 20 of these. That makes it really, really expensive. All right, let's run an Arc of Infinite Archive and see what Overland gear is dropping this week, because that also changes along with Violet Rules inventory. All right, we have run one and a little arcs of Infinite Archive. Looks like we have green shade gear dropping. That includes Beekeeper's gear, Shadow Dancer's raiment, and Wilder Queen's arch. And then also we have the Reach for our DLC zone. That is Radiant Bastion, Void Collar, and Witch Knight's Defiance. That's going to do it for this Tuesday. We'll see you next week.